If you're perfect, and I'm sweating to death. Hey y'all, welcome back to ChristiLynnOutside, and I do mean back. If you've been here for a while, you know it's been a minute. If you're new here, perfect timing because we're starting fresh. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly what's been going on, what has survived, what hasn't, and what is coming this next season. If you appreciate this type of content, gently tap that like button. Let's get to it. Now, I did a video a few months ago about where I've been, and if you want the full story, I can link that down in the description. I'm not going to rehash all of it, but what I will say is that things on the home front are genuinely moving in a better direction, and it feels really good to say that out loud. We're not done, but we're making progress, and that's enough to get me back outside with a camera. So, the garden. Okay, it's been 2 days because we've had a couple days of really bad rains, and I haven't been able to get out here and finish doing my videos. So let me show you what happens when your garden has about a year of unsupervised growing time. Okay, we'll start on the east side of the garden, which is the easiest part of the garden to access actually right now, and the newest part. A lot less things that are overgrown over here because most of them are new. I did move my potted fig trees over here. I have 2 of those, and then a banana ficus that is, it's just an ornamental. This was an ornamental that reminded me of my grandmother's house, and I just absolutely love the smell of the blooms when it blooms. Right here are my newest 3 beds that I added. I think it was last fall that I added them, and they're doing really well. I had potatoes and onions growing in these gardens, and I got a pretty good size harvest from the potatoes. I replaced them with sweet potatoes last month, and they're starting to vine out right now. They're doing really well, nice and green. There is a little bug damage on them, but it's fine. The bugs can, as long as they don't decimate them, they can do what they do. You'll also notice that I did splurge this past year and got the Garden in Minutes irrigation system that has saved me a ton of time. I have it all connected by these hoses and these manifolds, and it just turn each one on at a time, a couple of them on at a time, and run them for about 10 minutes. Along the back fence here are my newest purchases, and these are 2 plum trees and 1 cherry tree and then 1 banana tree back there. Believe it or not, I just planted these this spring, and they're doing very well. In fact, the banana actually already has, a little walk over there, the banana already has a pup popping up. You can see it right here, little pup. So I'm super excited about that, and this is a volunteer. Didn't plant that, but I'm here for it. Also, you'll notice that I have each of my potted plants on an irrigation system as well. These are micro sprinklers that I also hook up, and each of my potted plants, including my green stalk, all have a sprinkler tubing running to them, and that has been a game changer for watering my potted plants. Next, I have some bush beans here that are all blooming, so I should be getting beans soon. I have some burgundy bush beans and I think contenders. I can't remember what the other one was. Also in here, a couple places are some cucumbers. I had these down to keep the neighborhood wildlife from eating the seedlings and forgot to pull them up when the plants got big enough, and so now they just kind of have to stay there until these plants are done, because I'm afraid I'll pull them up by the roots if I try to take these A-frames out as they are. Now this is where it starts to get a little precarious. If you notice here, these are actually tomato plants. These are the newest round of tomatoes that I planted, and they are red snappers. They are determinate tomatoes, and they are not supported in any way. I did not have time to come out here and support them before they went nuts. And you can see there are a ton of tomatoes on these plants already, and I'm basically just going to have to dig through all of this mess. And in the middle is a volunteer basil that is bolted and blooming, and that's fine with me. It'll bring in the pollinators, and I can pick these blooms and make some tea with them. Some really good tea, actually. But I mean, tons of tomatoes that are coming out that look pretty amazing, actually. Oh, there's a little rotten one in there. So yep, there's a little rotten one in there that got picked on by some bugs. This is actually leaning on a bed of pepper plants, and I don't know, we might be able to get in there and see these pepper plants. See, there's a couple of them right there. I don't know if the peppers are going to survive with all this weight on top of them, but I guess we'll go ahead and see. I tried to pull one of these up a few minutes ago, actually, to see if I could maybe support them, and I cracked something. One of the branches cracked, so I don't know. So carefully stepping over and around the jungle, and I can't even access this walkway because these tomatoes on a failed trellis of mine, I thought I could do a little what is that? That's an A-frame. I thought I could do a little A-frame trellis along this walkway and trellis these tomatoes. And yeah, I can't walk through there anymore now without being attacked by tomato plants. So there's that. Then also, these are determinate tomatoes these are indeterminate tomatoes that are on their last leg. So they're probably gonna be pulled up pretty soon anyway. Pretty sure those tomatoes right there are part of the leaning series of red snappers. Also, more basil that has bolted. Yummy tea coming up. Lettuce with some leaf mulch that I just dumped in there haphazardly. This lettuce has all bolted and gone to seed and needs to be pulled up ASAP. And I can actually save the seeds from these and plant more lettuce. But in the meantime, they're just kind of hanging out with also a ton of weeds. The next garden is the second set of tomatoes that I planted, and I can't remember what the name. Oh, there it is. Nope, those are coloreds from last Hasenators. Hasenator tomatoes that I did support somewhat. There are a few Hasenators that are coming up, and they look great. but not a whole lot of blooms. There's a few blooms, but not a whole lot. I will also say that I have not fertilized much at all. In fact, this hosinator, you can see it didn't get supported well enough and it fell down here. Yeah, I don't even know what is what anymore, to be honest. But these are doing good. They look fairly well. Not a whole lot of bug damage, but also not a whole lot of fruit. This is another lettuce bed that has gone to seed. Also some arugula that has, I don't know, does arugula, yeah, is that seed pods? I think so, little seed pods. So all of these, the 2 lettuce beds that I have are gonna be pulled up and replanted with something fairly soon, but not at this moment. These are the oldest tomato plants that I have that I started to support. And you can see I started to support them. They got blight, and the rain really did a number to them. The rain and the leaf-footed bugs. The leaf-footed bugs have pretty much decimated these tomatoes. But I feel like if I am gonna lose tomatoes, these would be the ones, and I can just keep the leaf-footed bugs over here, hopefully, maybe. And there I do have some fruit, but the fruit is not real pretty. It's been damaged by the leaf-footed bugs. But if they will stay, honestly, if I can keep the leaf-footed bugs away from my other tomatoes, which are doing much better, and keep them over here. I saw a little congregation of them. Yeah, there's one right there. I don't know if you can see it. Right up on top of there. Old ugly thing. Gross. If I can keep them on these tomatoes and off of my newer, bigger, better tomatoes, then I'll be happy. Bell pepper bed, also not supported, with one rogue tomato that I just stuck in the dirt earlier in the summer when I was pruning. Little lizard friend. Lots of lizards in the garden, which hopefully will eat those stupid leaf-footed bugs. But I do have some baby bells. So, looking good. Super excited. Some of them are orange, some of them are green. I don't even remember which was which. And then there's the other bell peppers over there that are being squashed by the tomatoes. Our newest addition to the garden are Biscuit Bun, and I think Honey Bun is hiding in the upstairs. Let's see if she's up there. Hey, Honey Bun. They are both my sole source of fertilizer now. So I got the bunnies on a whim. My husband was not happy about it at all. So I had to make up some sort of idea of why I got them instead of, oh, I just wanted to love on these cute little fluffy things. So now they are living in the garden and they are producing fertilizer. So now we don't have to spend money on fertilizer. I'm so smart. So if you like what you've seen so far and you want to continue to follow me as I tame this tiny little suburban jungle throughout the season, kindly subscribe and check out the description. I have a few products listed there that I use from time to time, and I will keep it updated as things change. I made this front bed that was garlic into my pollinator flower bed. So I have vincas, and I have sunflowers, and I have zinnias, and I have, well, there's a ginger there in that little fabric pot. And I do have a couple okra that survived, although it's being eaten by something. But I do have a couple okra trees that are gonna come up and produce a little okra. But other than that, I got some pretty flowers right here in the front, and gazanias in my green stalk, along with a bunch of herbs. All of these rosemary were cuttings that I stuck in the dirt, and they all became little rosemary bushes. This is my strawberry / asparagus bed that is full of asparagus ferns right now. They were all spilling out into the walkway. Now the lettuce is spilling out into the walkway along with a bunch of weeds. But I started to, so I could at least halfway walk through here, I staked up these A-frames that I'm not using right now and put them up to hold the asparagus ferns up. If I didn't have these A-frames available, I would have just used twine and pulled them up into like little ponytails. Coming up out of here, I don't know if this is just, oh, okay, yeah. It's actually a very long blackberry vine or cane that is actually coming from blackberries off of that fence back there. I just threw it over into the asparagus, and apparently it's just come all the way over here. This is like 10 or 15 feet long. The strawberries did amazing during the spring. Now they're kind of dying off, and they're shaded out by the asparagus, and they apparently thrive in that condition, because next spring they will be probably about double that size. That's what happened this year, at least. And then we come to the jungle, and I'm not even going to try to walk through there, because this is blackberries and weeds gone bananas. Seriously need to get in there and pull the weeds and trim and stake up or something with these blackberries. But yeah, a jungle. It's a jungle out here, y'all. So last but not least, on the outer perimeter of the blackberry jungle, I have the 4x2 or 2x4 beds with herbs, more bell peppers. Let's see, some more coming in there. Some black cherry tomatoes, which are overripe and splitting because of the rain. A dying cucumber plant that's being suffocated by the cherry tomatoes. A super prolific sun gold cherry tomato plant. Actually, I think this is two of them, with some more peppers, but I don't think these peppers are doing so well. Well, I say that, but look, there's one. And then on the very far end are my hot peppers. I have Raja, Tabasco, cayenne, and one more that I can't remember the name of, but jalapeno, duh. There's some jalapenos coming in. Obviously, everything is riddled with weeds everywhere, grass growing everywhere. I can't even get through the middle of my archways because of the tomatoes just completely taking over. But I mean, I'm here for it. Look at all that. Look at all that. Look at all them tomatoes. Ah! And if I could make it back there, look at them blackberries. Hello. Might have to fish through the jungle to get those. And then growing up through my far cattle panel is my mother fig. It is about 10 feet or so tall this year. And I don't know if you can tell, it is full of figs. So hopefully we will have plenty of fresh figs to eat this year. I'm so excited. In fact, I just had to fish through the jungle to come and get my very first ripe fig of the year. I can't wait to taste this. Holy cow, it's so sweet. Worth it so much. So that's the garden in all its glory, and honestly some of it held up better than I expected. A few things did take the opportunity to completely take over, which fair, but a couple of things I was sure would be gone somehow are still hanging on. Plants are stubborn like that. I respect it. The surprises are kind of my favorite part, like the Swiss chard that popped up in the banana plant. I didn't plant that there, but I'm just gonna go with it. The blackberries, which have just popped up in random places, and I usually pull them up and I usually prune them, and I didn't. I just let them go, and it's a jungle back there, but we're gonna be full of blackberries this year. The fig tree that completely exploded, and I didn't do anything special. All I did was add the irrigation to it this year, and it completely grew, I mean, over 10 feet tall, and has so many figs on it. I cannot wait to eat them all. Now, as for what's actually growing out here this year, I have kept the scope smaller than usual this year, and I made peace with that. A good garden doesn't have to be a big garden, it just has to be tended. Now, obviously, some of the things need to be tended a little more than they have been recently, but I'm here for it, and I'm just taking a little bit at a time. Here's what's coming up on the channel. I want to get back to the format that felt most like me, real, outside, no frills. I'm planning to cover, actually I just got some red, white, and blue green stalks in, just in time for 4th of July. Now my content probably won't come out until after the 4th of July, but I want y'all to come along as I fill them and figure out what I'm going to be planting. I'd love to know what you want to see too, so drop that in the comments. I read everyone. Even though it is hot as Hades out here and I have had to take like 5 different breaks just to film this for you, it is good to be back out here. Really good. So if you want to see some tips on how to stay safe in this Louisiana heat, check out this video.